come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Give praises to Jehovah, from whom all blessings, blessing and knowledge will flow. Blessing and knowledge will flow. The Village Talk Show, dedicating to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life, helping each one of us in realizing our dream at any age, any point, starting from today, day. Success. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. Come all to learn and grow. Welcome to the Village Talk Show. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. We discuss what people need to know, empowering them to learn and grow. Success is not spoken, it is done. Success is done. Come on now. The Village Talk Show. Talk Show. The Village Talk Show.
Good evening, everyone. How is everyone doing? Welcome to the Village Radio Talk Show. I am Roderick Daly, your host. Joining me on screen, we have from my right, so that's up here. I need to figure out how to get rid of this background, Andre, is Dr. Joanne Bryant, our new specialist. She got all the raves last week. Yo, people were calling me up, let me know, boy, that her mouth couldn't stop last week, and she had so much to offer. Yo, let's all give it up for Dr. Bryant, boy. I'm telling you, last week I got so many calls about how great she did. You know that she was good.
What she do?
Her conversations all week, all she contributed last week, everybody was very excited. I got so much feedback. It was all positive. Below me is our great Dr. John L. Sampson, hanging out with us for today. And of course, the greatest executive producer of them all, Andre Doman. And behind scene, we have Sophia Willisey, our producer, who makes the show happen day in and day out. So big up to all of you guys, and thank you. Last week, by the way, great show last week. We hit on some of the major issues. I was telling somebody, a couple of people called. But before I say anything, big up to my brother. Is his birthday today? Whose birthday is it today, Andre? Andre, whose birthday is it?
My old man.
Yes. So happy birthday to Everall, and tomorrow's my sister-in-law's birthday, Georgia. So happy birthday to the both of them. Hopefully they're enjoying it. Of course, my brother is without his wife because she went to Jamaica. So she went down to the country to go hang out. Unfortunately, she had a death in the family, so she couldn't go down and enjoy the time with her husband and his birthday. I'm also alone, right? My wife left me. She went to go enjoy champs. So hopefully Jamaica is winning. Oh, wait, it's champs. It's all Jamaicans. Never mind. But big up. Thank you for joining us, where we're dedicated to empowering the community to live a healthy, safe, and financially capable life through education, helping each one of us in realizing our dreams at any age, at any point, starting from today. What's up, Dr. Brian? How you doing? Actually, no, you know what? I'm gonna leave the beautiful woman for last. The woman who did all her job last week. I'm gonna let her close up the greetings. I'm gonna start with Dr. L. Sampson. How you doing, Dr. L. Sampson?
I am blessed, highly favored, and congratulations to Dr. Brian for doing what she does best.
Yeah,
Stimulating the crowd.
yeah, stimulating the
Don't
crowd.
shake your head, Dr. Brian. Don't shake your head.
You know, I'm just saying, just take the compliment, yo. Just take it as it is. How you doing, Andre? How's everything going?
Grateful, gratitude. I'm good.
You know, John, I'm actually disappointed. I was expecting you to say something because I didn't say it, and I was hoping you would have said it to save me some time from getting. I don't like to steal your thunder, which is what, like all the village. You know what? We can't have a village without the villagers. So thank you everyone for joining us. Everybody who tuned in last week, all the WhatsApp messages I got. Paulette, Dr. Forbes, I told you should have been on screen. That sent me because she was asking a question. Dr. Forbes, my good friend, she was asking a question based upon education, and I'm going to ask that question to you, Dr. Dr. Bryant, before we get started. Anything else, and I'm going to let Andre talk about the economy a little bit, inflation. We're going to talk business because part of the big thing about the village, John, we got to talk about how people can get economically empowered. What can we do to become economically empowered? So, Dr. Bryant. So while you were saying hello, I want to let me pull up the question. Just say hello and greet the villagers for me.
Good evening, everyone. On this wonderful first week of spring, on this Thursday, so excited to be back, trying to bring that spring weather back. But we're gonna celebrate the 80-degree weather on Saturday. So,
What, we got 80 degrees on Saturday?
Get out.
Yes.
Wow.
80?
I have a baseball game on Saturday, so I'm looking forward to it. So the comment it was actually a comment, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't remember which part. Let me see. This was at 8:30. So I think around that time we're still talking on education.
Mm-hmm.
And so it says systems are still made up of people. And if Dr. Forbes is listening in, she can probably tap in and let me know, text me so I can follow up. It says accountability is still the same. People do nothing, so they cannot expect others to do something. I think that had to do with actually I don't remember. I think it has to do with education.
So here's the thing. New York State, not New York State, but going to federal government, they are the ones that actually look at the accountability system. So
Right.
Every state have to respond back to the federal government. They make the master plan. They communicate with the different states. They have conversations. So they set the standards. Once you remove that, then accountability now fall on the state. Each state will create their own objective or whatever they want or believe. So, and whoever you put in charge as your chancellor, as the person ahead of the education department would determine that. But they also have conversation with your legislative bodies as well. So depending on how or what state you are in will determine what type of standard they put in place. So now if you're looking at a state like Florida that believes in parent choice, which a lot of states are believing in parent choice, not parent choice, but parents deciding if they want to send to public school, homeschool or whatever. That's the push. That's the big push on the reason why they are trying to eliminate the federal government, the federal education department, but also stating that, hey, public schools are no good. It's also a union buster. Hey, if parents have choice, we could get rid of unions, we could get rid of this, we could get rid of that, and we can implement whatever possible. So similar to Florida, that changed the whole one-person state, something about DEI, about, hey, these things that's not working, and it's actually pushing discrimination, then every other conversation was about discrimination. We shouldn't have Black history. We shouldn't do this. We shouldn't do that. We need to eliminate slavery. Everything is negative. Then they tie it to LGBT. We're promoting one thing. So any conversation can be twisted as a way to push the agenda of eliminating history, and in the name of choice. That parents don't want this agenda push on children, so we need to remove it in the name of choice. So now when you have a state like that eliminates history, you're pushing your kids into Texas follows suit too. You're raising your children in a state that don't believe in the past or slavery or anything. It's made up history. That's dangerous because slavery repeats itself.
Well, you know what's more dangerous?
What's that?
What's more dangerous is when people don't understand the importance of voting. When, this election has consequences, and these are the consequences that people face because their inability to understand the significance of being involved politically. So now when everything's going to be changed. And he told us what he was going to do. Some of us believed it, some didn't, some voted for him, whatever it is. So these are the consequences because people failed to go out there and vote. That's it. And the people that even voted for him, they're suffering consequences with immigration and everything. So this is it. This is exactly what it is. So we can hem and aha, and we can say, oh my gosh. No, because we put ourselves in this predicament because we failed to vote. Either we failed to vote or we voted for him in belief that, everybody says he can change the system, but he's definitely changing the system, how things work. The Department of Education is one thing. I don't know if we were actually getting our bang for the buck with the Department of Education. Now, if it goes to the states, it's going to be just like the abortion issue. Go to the states, you have different people, different regulations, different rules. And again, it's going to come back into the federal government once again. So this is the consequences of an election. That's it.
So true. Oh, look at that. Hey, Jalen. Calling from Florida.
Hey, Mr. Pierre, how are you doing, sir? John, it's not even about the consequence that I'm thinking about. Obviously, consequence is a major issue, right? But it's not just about the consequence, right? It's the disbelief. And then you have people making a statement, right? You have people making a statement like, I don't believe in politics.
Politics affect everything.
But I'm not even thinking on that level, but you're 100% correct, Dr. Bryant. You're 100% correct. Politics affects everything about our daily lives. Whether you are religious, whether you're atheist, whether you're secular, whether you're a saint. Right? It affects, because if you're sick and you got to go to the hospital, right? What is the policy on hospitalization and people, right? What is the policy on that? Okay. So if you're ultra religious and you don't believe in blood transfusion, but you want to stay alive, you don't want to die. So what medical things can you do? What is my insurance going to do? If the federal government says everyone must pay for insurance, right? Then you are affected. That's who you voted into office. The question becomes, what is your priority? What's more important to you? And that, John, you talk about immigration, and how many people voted on his immigration policy for deportation, not realizing that will affect your family? You know how many people did that?
A lot of people did that, boy. A lot of people.
Exactly. Because they're citizens, right? Because they're citizens, they think they're untouchable. Look at, who is he going after? Now look at this new thing. All immigrants must, when they are filing for citizenship, they now have to put their social media status on the screen.
Yes.
What do you say to that? Right? And then that means that they have the ability to deny, right? They have the ability to deny
your entrance.
Your entrance to the United States. I mean, not to the United States, to grant you citizenship, or not. What do you say to that? Right? And people don't understand that. Now, you also, somebody's listening. Oh, guess what? I pressed the. Guess, and I'm still talking.
The numbers gonna do what the numbers gonna do. Stay up here.
Right? No, it's not that. It's not that. They had nothing to do with it. What happened was I was sending the thing to somebody else, and I pressed on it, so it went to YouTube and opened it. Right? So the issues that people don't understand, you might, and that's one of the problem people have conscious voting. What is John going to do for me, Roderick Daly? And people, right? Hi, Mommy Pierre.
Hey,
You
Mommy.
got the whole family today.
I know. Look at that.
Oh, wait, she didn't say nothing today. That's because she's killing it. That's because she's killing it.
Who,
You.
Mom?
No, I'm saying.
No,
you.
I said hi, Mom. How
No,
are
I
you?
heard you. I'm saying you didn't say nothing when I called you Juju.
Oh, I didn't
that's
hear because I
Oh,
would have
you-
got off on you.
But I'm saying that's because you're on fire. But like people, one of the things, and it's a major problem, we are too short-sighted. We only see, like, you ever see some people drive and they drive like this?
Blindfolds,
They never look to the left,
peripheral vision.
to the right.
Mhm.
They have tunnel vision. What are you going to do for me? And they don't understand, if I build a school, it affects you and your children. And if you don't have no children, depending on the neighborhood, you're going to have to pay the taxes.
Right.
So it's still going to affect you.
Mhm.
The better the school system is, the less crimes you have. The worse the school system is, the more crimes you have. That's just, it's proven facts. Anyway, we don't want to start, that's not what's the conversation. So I want to start with Andre. Andre, tell us a little bit. Did you check out the markets this week? Because, you know, I didn't get a chance to. I haven't got
Yeah, I wasn't looking at it so much, but I mean, at the same time, pay attention. But the market is just choppy right now. I mean, every time Trump opened his mouth, you know, because he's talking about these tariffs. So he just did the
Well, he just hit the
tariff. So,
25% foreign orders. Yeah, foreign orders, 25%.
yeah,
So,
like,
what type of car we're supposed to get now?
American.
yeah, get your car in America. What?
So name me Chevy. That's it.
Chevy,
Doc,
GMC.
hey, Doc, you gotta take back that foreign. You can't buy a foreign car no more, Doc.
Yeah. Chevy, GMC, Ford.
You too, Roderick.
Tesla
Hey, I have a
100%.
Toyota, man.
So get
You
Tesla.
too, Andre. Y'all too.
That's
Y'all gotta
not-
buy American. Buy American.
Honda and Toyota are made in America.
The parts are not.
Hello, you hit it right on the head, Doc.
You go.
There you go.
Doc,
I'm telling you.
I don't need you right now. Right? I don't need you right
Hey,
now.
let me tell you something. All your three need to buy American. That's all I can say.
Why? Because you have an American car? Is that
That's
what you
right.
say?
American car, American parts.
Oh,
Right. I have American. I have American. Well, it's not fully American.
It's not. The
It's
parts
not
are
fully-
going to be
No,
more
you're right.
expensive than usual.
No, you're absolutely correct. You're absolutely, but not the
So now
car.
going,
It's not the
it's a
car that
problem.
he's taxing. Because if they build the car in America, he's not taxing them.
Yeah,
The
only-
parts that he's taxing.
No, not the parts. He's taxing
Yes,
the car.
he
Yes, he is. The tax on the part.
Everything.
Take out of the country, the tax, and then he's gonna do for the tariffs again on April 2nd. They call it Liberation Day.
I don't
So
understand. I don't know who's advising this individual to say that increasing import and export wine, cars, and things like that. Who is in his ears giving?
No more champagne. No more champagne drinking. You hear that, Dr. Bright? No more champagne drinking.
but
So
that's
I'm like, no, because that's a whole market that's out.
But
Even
this-
the wineries, they actually have wines from different places. They're like, hey, I'll
But you
market-
know what? Let me tell you something. You know what there's no tariff on?
What's that,
Marijuana.
water?
Marijuana.
Weed.
No,
This is my theory.
there's no
This is
tariff.
this is
But
this
it,
is
when it gets
one of
taxed
the
out the
things.
wazoo, though.
This one of the things I think he's doing that with all this tariff is one. Well, there's a lot, but one in the interest rate to go down, and so if he presses on, it's gonna make for the economic slow down, which is kind of already slowing down, stagflation. So if there's no activity going on, Federal Reserve gonna be like, all right, let's bring the interest rate down a little bit, so that way we can get people to start really going on, wanting to spend some money, and get the labor market going. But
What?
if he goes too much,
He
which
is doing
seems
too
like
much.
recession.
But no. But pay attention. Pay attention, everybody. Donald Trump does not. The President Trump.
Watch the
Pay
stock market.
attention. Pay attention. Pay attention to what he's not doing. Don't pay attention to what he is doing. Pay attention to what he's not doing.
Hey,
Mhm.
John, you want to read what our village? Can you see it, John? Actually, Andrew, you read what our village pessimist.
People. It says people vote. People vote. People vote. People vote for Donald Trump, and this is what happens. And now people want to complain about it. Yeah.
Is Ben F in the middle or what? Sometimes I feel like he on the other side. Or
It's not, you know, Andre, that's the problem that we have. We always want to be on sides. Like we
no, that's what I'm saying.
the side should be call it the way you see it. And the way I see it is that the Democrats had an opportunity, but we just got caught up too much. Some might say wokeness, some might say political correct. Some might say if you don't agree with me, I'm going to cancel you.
Yep.
So we are not open-minded to opposing views,
Mm-hmm.
and that is our downfall. That led to our downfall in this last presidential race.
The people. This is what's crazy to me. People knew what they were going to get with Donald Trump, right? They knew it, and they complained like crazy between 2016 and 2020. They couldn't stop complaining. People don't change. Zebras don't remove their stripes, or they be horses. Right? If you have a zebra, it has stripes. They're black and white. Right? A mule all of a sudden can't have kids, because that's not how it works.
Right.
A mule all of a sudden is not going to turn into a horse. Right? So what is the point of complaining? What you can do, however, is vote out the Congress. That you can do, because that would be a way to start with the checks and balances. You can vote on Congress, and you can vote out the Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So more than 50%, 100% of Congress will be running in 2026. 100% will be running 2026.
You mean the House of Representatives? Most of the House of Representatives and some seats in the
and 1/3 of seats in the Senate will be running.
Right.
Right. So 100% of the House of Representatives and 33% of the U.S. Senate will be running for office. Vote. It ain't that difficult to understand, because if you don't vote, the 77 million people who voted for Donald Trump will vote for him again. It's that simple.
Right.
You could talk, hate, anything you want to do. And the other thing that they didn't do, we're on the show, we talked about Kamala. We said, hey, this is your decision, but here are the choices.
Right.
You could have gotten up, go, make a phone call a swing state, work with somebody. If you can't do that, take a trip. If you live in a swing state, go to a community center. You could have done something to help the race. But you chose not to do anything because you had tunnel vision. I'm going to vote. I don't worry. You need to vote on your own. Sometimes people need a little push. Oh, I'm in church. Christians don't vote. Okay. No problem. Don't vote. Now your Social Security is in trouble, right? Like, what happened? Oh, I'm a Christian. Oh, I'm an atheist. My Social Security is not going to be affected. So I don't need to vote. Okay, so you worked hard all your life to get your Social Security, and now, poof, it's in trouble. So, John, people got to get it. They got to get it. They got to get it. So, you know, one thing I want to tell people though is that they don't binge move in the stock market. John made an important point, but although he didn't say more to it, right? John made an important point, but he didn't say more to it. But that was, look what Donald Trump is doing. Look at what they invested in. You know why it's important, John, in America to invest in the American car market now?
Why?
Because their sales are going to go up.
The American car market. Yeah.
Huh?
The American car market.
Yeah, the American car market. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Yeah.
You know what's interesting, Roderick? What about those American car dealers who are making cars in overseas, in Mexico?
There you go. What is he going to do with that?
They don't have to pay that.
And here's an interesting thing. America has one of the highest income in the world, right? I don't remember which country is higher. Maybe you could look it up, Andre. But America has one of the highest income in the world.
Mm-hmm.
How is that going to be an effect in the car industry? Because if they're mass producing, you're going to have to pay the workers, United Auto Workers, a hell of a lot more. Because nowadays they're doing more work. What happens when he leaves office and there's an instability in the system?
Right.
Because I'm 100% certain that the next president is not going to allow this amount of major taxes to continue.
Well, we're going to see what's going on with the tax cuts because they have to they expire this year, I believe. So we'll see. But you know, it's interesting. He had Stefanik, who is going to make UN ambassador. He pulled it back because they're concerned about the majority in the House of Representatives.
Right. Because they're going to lose. Right. But you know, it's politics and it's the cycle. You know, so we have to start getting to the point where we need to stop being reactive and be very much
proactive.
You know,
proactive. Yeah, definitely.
John, before we go any further, right? I want to thank so many of the villagers that has sent their congratulatory remarks out there. All of you who have sent your congratulatory remarks out there for that naming, right, of the room, the conference room, now officially called the Roderick F. Daly Conference Room. I am so excited. My first.
Where was this at? Where was this at?
Andre, you have those pictures up? Are you able to put them up so you can share them?
So they donated a room?
Yeah, pay attention, man.
They named the room after you? For what? What the hell you do?
You vexed? You sound jealous. You sound mad jealous. Yeah, you're
You're not jealous. Mm-mm.
You got it, Andre? Oh, there you go. Those are some of my domino peoples right there. Can you guys hear me?
So where did this take place? White House to require social media information and immigration application. Is that it?
No,
That's what they're going to be doing in the room?
Exactly. Those are my parents, Paulette, my mother, my aunt. So I don't know if this how you see it when you look at the screen. To the right is my Auntie Bev, my Auntie Clarine. Look at my Auntie Clarine. She's so cool. Like she had her glasses, my mama, my daddy, and our very close family friend, Dr. Forbes, right in front of the conference room. Of course, my mother showing off with the write-up.
When was this, man? When was this?
Last Saturday.
I didn't get no invitation.
You got an invitation.
I ain't seen no invitation, man.
The Yard East Flatbush FEC presents, the Roderick, I should say F, but Roderick Daley's conference room. Isn't that sweet?
No.
You're a hater. Wait, Andre, keep going, Andre. Or how do I do that?
Some of them suffering from bad mind, really bad. But I'm cool, I'm not mad. Oh, yeah, they walking around me club. My blessings come from high and Father know. Forgive them, they know better. Father know.
Part of the FEC, we have the Comfy Corner. And throughout all our entire hot time here, we was able to partner with Sesame Flyers, who allowed us to use their space, bring the community members in for financial literacy, for Halloween trick-or-treats. But we wanted to name our Comfy Cozy Corner after Curtis Nelson, Executive Director at Sesame Flyers International, Incorporated. And another individual we'd like to bring to the stage.
So they also recognized Curtis Nelson. He got the conference room named after him. And I think one of the pictures, I guess I showed the pictures. Andre, move forward a little bit. Andre, click. Can you hear me? Oh, it's repeated. Oh, no, it's not. Andre, move it a little faster. That woman, there's a tremendously great domino player right there.
Yeah.
Rosie, yeah. Andre, move forward a little bit. I want to show the one that showed the other people got rooms named after them.
These are the only ones I really have. Like those are the only ones that were in the chat when you send them. You hear, Roderick?
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah.
So Curtis Nelson from Sesame Flyers and Don Swaby also had their rooms named after them as well. You have the Comfy Corner. I'm looking for them.
Let me replay because it wasn't finished.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Let me see if I find the other one.
All right. In the meantime.
Between times.
Right.
You want commercial?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
Want to get your personal income tax, business corporate tax, self-employment tax, quarterly tax, payroll tax, or sales tax filing done professionally?
Yeah.
Call U.S. Spirit LLC 718-676-0519 and take the worry out of your personal and business life. Tax compliance issues should be left to the pros. So when you want your business to grow, call the pros because a successful business matters. U.S. Spirit LLC also handles accounting, bookkeeping, business startups, consultation, real estate, and many more services. Call U.S. Spirit LLC 718-676-0519 and ask for Howard DaCosta, CEO, to book a 1-hour evaluation at no cost to you. Take remote control of all your needs and U.S. Spirit LLC will follow your lead. Want to work but don't have a social security number? Yes! Find out about getting a tax ID to pay your taxes. Call U.S. Spirit LLC or log on to www.usspirit.com. Team up for...
Call Howard Housing Solution today for all your real estate needs. Sellers, we can get top dollar for your home, and our vast network of professionals can facilitate your move and help you purchase your dream home in another state. Buyers, we have a pulse on the market and can get you in a home quickly. Property owners, we can manage your property efficiently and allow you peace of mind. So why wait? Call Howard Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560 for your sale, purchase, or property management needs. Conveniently located in East New York, Brooklyn. You can come to us at 577 New Lots Avenue, Brooklyn, New York, or we can visit in the comfort of your home. Call Howard's Housing Solutions today at 646-825-5560. Howard Housing Solutions. Real estate simplified.
Footprints Cafes now offers Caribbean flatbreads, available in 11 mouth-watering flavors, including favorites like jerk chicken, curry chicken, honey garlic chicken or shrimp, ackee and saltfish, garlic cheese, and more. Our flatbreads are satisfying and can be enjoyed by the entire family. So make it a flatbread night at Footprints and enjoy the fusion of flavors. These flatbreads are so good, you might just have to fight for that last piece. Good thing there's plenty more where that came from. Get yours today from any of our Footprints locations. Want to enjoy your flatbread at home? Then order on Uber Eats and get it delivered right to your door. We'll see you there.
So, you know,
our guest is here also. So
yeah, I see that. Do we want to hit a topic before we get to the guest? So let's do the guest and then come back.
All right. Well. So the Atlantic, releasing the whole war plans. So I was looking at that itself, and I just imagined to myself, right? You hate the leader so much, possibly, that you send out the information publicly, right? Like, in my mind, it's just like if they're discussing war plans itself, and you get the message itself, and then you release it out to the public. If they attack us, we all going down. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
No.
Yes,
I don't
yes,
understand.
yes. So
I find it nuts that they're actually, Hillary, they made a big deal about the fact she wasn't using a secure browser and this and that. And here it is, they're using any old platform.
The problematic.
And saying, hey,
problematic.
it's okay. They didn't do anything. He lied. He was like, no, we didn't text. And then he had to show evidence that you did text. You're a liar.
It's never okay, but I agree, right? I agree. Like they should be using more secure servers or email or whatever it is that you must be secure with. But I also feel like that, like if I was in that group chat and I get the information, I'm not gonna run out and send it out to the public for the public to read.
That's the difference between you and the reporter.
Huh?
That's
Right,
the difference
that's what
between you and the reporter. The reporter, the
wouldn't do
objective is to get the scoop so he can get as much attention as possible. That's
Right.
all why he did it.
Exactly. But then no, you do that now. You put everybody in problem. Everybody.
But that's the media. That's the media for you, and both Democrats and Republicans have the same problem with. That's the media.
It's ridiculous,
No,
man.
but John, I think part of the thing that we're not looking at and we're not focusing on as part of the media is fairness, right? And objectivity. If you call Sleepy Hillary that she should have gone to jail for using her AOL email or her Gmail, whatever one it was, right? And that helped you to get elected. Why not chastise your national security advisor who just got sworn in the same way?
Well, with Hillary stuff, I don't remember if it got to the public. Like, did that get published in like newspaper?
No, it didn't get to the public, but she was using both her personal and her government email to send out and receive emails.
But that's what I'm saying. That itself is problematic. No, that itself.
No, I'm not. We're not talking about the problematic component of the issue. We're talking about why address it with one and not address it with the other.
Partisan politics. We all know that, Roger. That's the answer. Come on.
Right? And how do you stage it in such a way that suggests like so the question is, when are we going to see and accept the fact that many of us, Democrat, Republican, or Independent, are somewhere in between, that you're getting played? When are you going to come to that term? Republicans going to pitch you against the Democrats. The Democrats going to pitch you against the Republicans. The Independent are going to pitch you against both of them. The Libertarians they don't understand. So I don't know, John. The other thing that I want to talk about quickly is may her soul rest in peace with Mia Love, first Haitian person elected from the state of Utah as a
Congresswoman. Republican Congresswoman.
Yeah. But here's the interesting conversation that I have, right? That I have this conversation. How does she feel? I mean, I'm not talking about her in her death, but in a negative way. But my question is, when Trump was running and called Haitian eating, how did she feel to know that she's talking about somebody who he's actually talking about somebody who supported him to the bitter end in 2018 and 2019, 2016 through 2019.
Who?
Mia.
Trump didn't feel Mia supported him. He was happy she lost her. She was happy. He was happy when she lost.
But she did support him for a period of time until the BS, started.
Yeah, right? But I mean, the problem is the Republicans toe the lines, Democrats don't. That's it. Democrats always want you to resign and do this and do that shit all the time. They ain't got no loyalty. They're the holier than thou people. I call Democrats holier than thou, but the biggest hypocrites around.
Yes.
Not in my backyard. Not in my backyard. But you want it. You want it. But as long as it's not in my backyard.
John, I want to state a point, and you brought it up a couple of times. I want to bring it up.
Empress, facts.
Right.
Thank you, Empress.
I want to talk about something. People.
Why don't you talk about it already, man? You've been saying that for the last 2 minutes. Let's go.
No, I'm just reading the comments that people are saying facts and.
Now it's 3 minutes, man. Let's go.
Okay, so I want to bring
up supporting Andrew Cuomo.
Right.
Let's move on. I have a question for you.
For me, before I brought up my point.
Overall, yes. Before Andrew Cuomo, I have a question. Why is the judge getting involved with the This goes back to with the texting and things like that, the chat. Why will a judge get involved in such?
What are you talking about? Why?
So there was a judge who mentioned that they have to hold on to the text information Why is this being pushed to that limit now?
What you mean? This whole, I don't know. I didn't hear that, Doc. I didn't hear that.
What text information?
What happened?
What text information?
Judge ordered Trump administration officials to preserve signal messages about Yemen strike. So now it's being elevated to another level.
Why would the judge ask that? Who's suing?
I don't know. So it has to be suing in order for
Somebody's suing. Yeah, in order to go to court,
Okay.
somebody had to do something.
Okay.
Right, but right. So it's probably the Democrats. But at the end of the day, you think about it. That's proof, right? So maybe there's some legal action, like John said, in order for you to preserve some things, because the pending legal actions.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So whatever the legal action is that's going to happen, right? Whether it's, at this point, it could be a concept of people looking for impeachment at that level. Because I'm surprised that impeachment of Donald Trump has not floated through Republican Democrats at this point.
But he was impeached already. What difference? It doesn't make a difference. You can impeach somebody 10 times. They're still there.
So here's one of the problems with him being impeached. Again, for him, right? First of all, like Grover Cleveland, he is going to go down in history as the president who was elected non-simultaneously for 2 terms.
Right.
Right. But he's also going to go down in history as one of the top worst presidents of the United States because of his impeachment. So
he doesn't care. He doesn't care about that.
He doesn't care.
No, actually, that's not true.
He doesn't care. That's why he ran again.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
He want to make people pay for that.
That's not true, Dr. Brian. No matter how.
So what is true, Roger? Get to the point,
no
my
matter
brother.
how good you are, you always care about your legacy. You always, especially at that level, you care about your legacy. What is going to be written in your history books about you? Why do you think he wants to change so many? Like what in Colorado, right? He wanted to put his name on something. He wants to change the narrative of who he is. Nobody wants to be the president who was Andrew Johnson, right? In 66, was impeached. And we still know about it. And Andrew Johnson's ranked in the worst presidents of the United States. Is it Andrew Johnson? Yeah, Andrew Johnson. Right? Because I always say Andrew Jackson versus Andrew Johnson. Right? But Andrew Johnson, right, is known as one of the worst presidents in history because of that impeachment. And he came right after Abraham Lincoln, right after the war. Abraham Lincoln, who split the Union, but then gained back unity, is known as one of the top 10 best presidents of the United States. And he split the United States in 2.
Right.
Okay? And he never freed slavery. But people gave him the credit for free slavery. So think about it. The other thing I want to bring up real fast, I don't see Jamel, so I could bring up another topic. Empress Danielle asked me a question.
He's there, Roger.
Yes, I see him. So let's bring him on because the time is going. It's after 8, and he was due in at 8. Good afternoon, Mr. Henderson. How are you, sir?
Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Bless.
Good evening.
Welcome to the Village Radio Talk Show and social media. Is very exciting to have you. And I think Dr. Bryant has a question she wants to ask you immediately. Right off the
bat. All right into it. I love it. Let's get it.
So, Mr. Henderson, please introduce yourself to our Village family. We want to know a lot more about you.
Yeah, so first of all, good evening, everyone. Again, happy Thursday. Hope everyone is having an amazing day, relaxing, enjoying yourself. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Jamel Henderson, and I am a proud Brooklynite, born and bred. Started from East Flatbush, now living in Crown Heights and Kingsborough houses. I'm 39 years old. This July, God willing, I will be 40. So God is awesome in this space. And I'm the youngest of three. And I am someone who, you mentioned, Mr. Daly, I was listening in, changing the narrative. That's what I'm here to do. Since I was a kid, being born in 85, I was raised by an amazing father, the late Warren Lee Henderson, who literally, taught me from an early age about civic engagement, how our government works, and being exposed to injustice, before the age of 5. So 1991, I'm sure we remember, the Rodney King incident, Crown Heights riot, that took place. And seeing from that aspect to where I'm at today, it helped me to really change a narrative in terms of showing that people from my background, I was in foster care for 8 years. Shout out to Concord Family Services, who literally helped me to be the person that I am today. My foster mother, the late Betty Rose Robinson, who raised me for 8 years, she also passed away. So losing both my parents, my mom at 28 and my foster mom, that pain turned into power, into progress. And so literally I've taken all of that work by constantly teaching communities about civic engagement, taking the boring political jargon, turning it into the New York narrative that people can understand, and different ways where people can become civically engaged and involved. But then also making sure that I tie into my Caribbean heritage. The last 5 years, I'm learning more about my Haitian background. I am second generation Haitian American, and my mother, who really didn't look into her family side. So I'm really honored to carry that torch to discover more about my mother's side and her family background. So, but being born in East Flatbush, 820 Albany Ave was where it all started for me. And you already know, that's where it all started. So being surrounded by the Caribbean culture, it took me to all the different spaces of leadership where I now serve as the vice president for Karma Carnival International, and just been representing Caribbean culture in different carnivals, different areas where I've met prime ministers of different Caribbean communities, and just really building a bridge between the Black community here in Brooklyn and our community across.
Excellent.
Quick question. Again, one of the questions I want to ask you is, you spoke about, tell us a little bit about the foster care system. You said you're in it for 8 years. And a lot of people, it's like deja vu special ed. I get an IEP. A lot of people don't understand that there are factors, good and bad, right, that places. So tell us about your 8 years with the foster care, and I don't know if you want to share the story. Why did you?
It's okay. This is one of the most powerful things, because
why did you go to foster cares?
I constantly think about survivors who constantly share their story. They're the most powerful people on this planet. So if they could do it, so can I. And I hope that everyone who's watching will be hopefully inspired, because there are many of us out here that are foster care alums. So the first time I was in foster care, both my parents were in the hospital. And that's when my father transitioned. And I was in there for 2 weeks. I remember both times to this day. And this was when it was BCW before it became ACS. So real, back in real New Yorkers know BCW. And they
real
pulled up. Yeah, so you remember Mr. Sampson. So they pulled up heavy both times. I'm talking about at least 10 to 14 officers with a caseworker, and they telling you to just grab your stuff and come with them. And the first time it happened, I was 10, 11 years old. And, you know, I'm thinking about my father. He taught me my leadership skills and taught me how to read at a very early age, understanding Black political thought. So I was fully aware, you know, listening to Tony Brown's Journal, watching Like It Is with Gil Noble, like this stuff I was watching. You know what I'm talking about? So this stuff, Imhotep, Gary Bird, like these are people I was growing up with.
May they rest in peace. May they rest in peace.
Yes, may they rest in peace. These were phenomenal gems in the Black community, and they taught me, like I said, under the age of 10. So now being the youngest of the three, looking like what's going on, I'm already thinking and triggered because I'm already seeing images of what police have done to us as Black people. So now they're in my home, and the little 10-year-old is like, I'm ready to fight. Like, what are you doing in my house? How did you get my address? Who is BCW? You know, these are all these different questions. So the first time that happened, I was there for 2 weeks. White Street was the location. I don't know if that still exists anymore, but being in that large space with different children and everybody's trying to find a space to crawl in. It was very, very, it was heavy. And then the second time it happened, there was about 14 officers, and it was my sister, myself, and my brother. And my brother was separated into a different foster care setting because of his mental health condition, where my sister and I was placed into Concord Family Services, that at the agency at the time. So I was very grateful for Concord Family Services.
Okay. And you said you were there. Tell us a little bit about, you know, like you touched on it, but you didn't delve into it, right? Tell us, why is it important that people respect and look at foster children? You know, why? Because sometimes they look at them as bad kids. They look at them as damaged goods, right?
Yeah, no. See, one of the things that Concord Family Services did, and I want to give a big shout out, I'm going to mention a few names because they deserve to be uplifted. First of all, Mr. Underwood, Mr. Ronald Underwood. He was one of the people that walked in and created, and I like that your show is about the village. We created a village. The theme, the message was, it takes some village to raise a child. And our version was, it takes a community to raise a child. And so coming in to foster care, I was fortunate, and many of us were fortunate, and not everybody had a great story. Let me be very clear. But many of us were fortunate to walk in with a tough love understanding, like, hey, you're in foster care because of this situation, whatever situation. How do we work together now to push forward? So it was literally taking the time to train foster parents and understanding that we are not damaged goods. We all dealt with and are dealing with traumatic situations that should not have occurred, that are beyond our control. That's number one. Right. But number two, it's really showing that, hey, even with those of us who have experienced heavy trauma, whatever that looks like, there is diamonds within us that are waiting to come out. And all it takes is a little patience, a little prayer, and a strong village consistently committed. And one of the examples that I like to use, and it ties into, and I was listening earlier to politically, right, is when you are a foster child, you're going to be going through a series of caseworkers. It's unfortunate, but that is the fact. And it's nothing like the first time or the one caseworker that you really get that gets you. You know, sometimes you get the first caseworker, they just there to do their job and they go home. There's others that really take the time to kind of sort of invest, and then there's ones that really pour into you, right?
Who want to know you. Who want to know you. Right.
And so when you're getting poured into, and then all of a sudden, for whatever situation, the caseworker leaves, you know, your defenses automatically goes up. So if another caseworker comes in, they may or may not have the same intentions, but your defenses is like, I don't want to be vulnerable all over again. And that's sometimes we don't take the time to look at that. Like, I've had several caseworkers, and thankfully I was fortunate to be open to sharing whatever I needed. Was it painful? Yes. But I'm grateful because if it wasn't for my foster mom, and I call her henceforth my grandmother because she's that close to me in my heart, who literally raised me and then brought me to Bridge Street AME Church, where I'm still a member to this day, that grounded me.
Concord. That's what Concord.
You know what I'm saying? So I would not have been able to tell this type of story in a way where I'm advocating on both sides. And so I was very fortunate to have stayed in one foster home. And for 8 years, I was her last foster child. And that was one of the hard, traumatic stories to this day, because I remember getting my first apartment at 17 years old. And I wasn't too sure because they had the independent living program at the time. And I was like, I don't know. But she said, you're ready. And 3 months after I moved in, she passed away. You know, and so a lot of foster children don't have that type of story. But there are many who are looking for individuals to just take the time to invest in them, pour into them, and don't give up on them. That's the key.
I have a weird question. I'm going to turn over to our, just a weird, a lot of times foster, tell us about, a lot of times you have foster families who have these kids because there's a certain amount of monies that the system give them.
Oh, yes.
And how does a child, let me just go back and share a story.
No problem.
Why I asked that question. And this is the system failed this young man, 10 years old. This young man, 10 years old. The mother and stepfather brutally beat this kid, put him into a coma, and killed him. 10 years old, because the kid couldn't go to foster care. But he was in a brutal state because the young man went into the system, felt unmoved, and felt like home was better. And then he was eventually killed. So I know I'm going to move on, but it bothers me a little bit because I've seen some of the tragedies that happened, especially when the kid went back home, and one, the foster care failed him.
Yes.
Right. And two, putting him into that place. But just a 30 seconds, we got to jump into you because I know that you're here for a number of reasons, and I want to. But I also think it's important.
No, I enjoy this. Trust me. This is enjoyable
because there are certain trepidations that go along with foster care, and we have to remove those trepidations so the system and people and maybe vet some of these parents better. So
absolutely, I 100% agree with you. Even though I've been, 21, 18 years removed from foster care, I know for certain that the patterns still remain the same, that there are foster parents who are coming in and seeing us as a paycheck. And trust me, those stipends are hefty when it comes to depending on how many kids you have, depending on the number of kids you have, depending on if you have teenagers, depending if there are special needs, depending if there are children. And there are foster parents still right now on this clock. I like to use the real experience. 823 right now that are spending a foster child's money that they shouldn't be spending on themselves. Right. And unfortunately, when it comes to ACS, and I've seen it, and unfortunately still happens to this day, things still don't change unless there's an unfortunate tragedy. And even with that, we have yet to see heavy policies, fundings, or measures to really strictly enforce the protection of children from foster parents, especially now that we are in the scamming era. And it's a new type of hustle. We got to really vent who's really coming in to oversee those of us who are looking to either A, get back into their communities with their parents, or B, be on the road to independency. So I 100% agree that is something that we definitely have to fix like right away.
All right, let's get into the nitty gritty. Dr. Brian, you want to start, or you, John? You start with a question.
I think more not so much a question, but a comment, meaning that, you know, I think the stigmas, the stereotypes when it comes to the foster care systems, sometimes what we allow it to overshadow those families, those people, those who have taken into these children have had a everlasting effect on
Yes.
a lot of them.
Yes.
And I think it's great that we talk about, you know, but also the positives in your story are positive. There's negatives, but there are a lot of more stories that should be. Just speaking about it, I think is something that we need to do and continue, because
Yes.
we need more families to be available to become foster parents,
Yeah.
so they can instill in those family values, or that family nucleus, to give them that mindset that, you know, I may not be your family, but we are family because we are a community, and we're
Yeah.
willing to take in the community and help those.
And just to give you a quick example of how powerful that is, we have a Facebook group where, you know, hopefully praying this year, we will all get together to see, you know, the caseworkers, the administrators, whoever, we all come together, because our agency closed down in 2008. So many of us, when I tell you, when we aged out, one is a borough park director. Okay. One is a software. No, he's getting ready to become an electrical engineer for the MTA. One person is a super entrepreneur making six figures. So like, there are many of us who are showing positive outcomes, and we do need to be highlighted. And I think the narrative is the negative. It looks, it's like, let's pour into that versus pouring into the success. Because if it wasn't for the agency that I was a part of, I would not have had the chance to understand how travel looks like, or even just down to the T, the different life skills that we was able to learn, right? Understanding how to protect ourselves, you know, from STDs, understanding how to shower, understanding how to travel and navigate trains and buses, like all these different things that many don't pay attention to. So I 100% agree. We do need to highlight those stories. And I just think, you know, the communities and cities got to do a better job, because there are phenomenal foster parents out there, and mine was one of them. May her soul rest in peace.
Thank you.
So first, I want to say I commend you for your transparency and your vulnerability. That takes a lot of guts, but also I love the fact that you said, "Hey, if survivors could tell their stories, I can as well, in order to inspire, to support, and to educate others." So thank you for that. Of course, my Haitian person. So I am looking at one of the questions that I'm interested in. What pushed you to run into city council? What made you? I know history. You talked about some WBLS, 97 point, oh my God, 98.7.
Throwback.
Yes,
Kiss FM. Man, oh man. What a time, right?
Yes. So now, when you're speaking about that, what was that moment that got you to say, hey, you know what? I need to actually run. I need to be able to be the change maker that I am envisioning and expecting to see.
So, two answers. So the first time I ran for city council, I was 31 years old, and everything was just at a beautiful, natural morale high for me, because Back then I created a leadership formula for myself. I have tons of leadership formulas, but this one's the one I stick with recently, which is see it, speak it, believe it, do it, in that exact order. And I know some people use 3 of the 4, but 2 of the 4, I use all 4, because for me, that's exactly what happens when you see the vision, you know, and you speak it out loud, manifesting it, and you constantly believing it, and then you just do it. So the first time when I had that defining moment, President Barack Obama was leaving office, and one of his final addresses, he said, if you don't like what you see, grab a petition, get out there and run for office. I just finished my first master's. I was fired up from Baruch College. Shout out to the National Urban Fellows Program, class of 2016. And I was like, all right, I've taught already. I've done tons of workshops. I'm coming off of a workshop I did for CB17 about understanding the power of your vote. And mind you, constantly sharing that, looking back at exactly what I said would happen, by the way. I just want to put that out there because I'm focused on the courts. But when I jumped in, I said, that's the first time I said I'm going to do it. And it was one of the most exciting experiences that I did. Unfortunately, you know, we didn't make it all the way, but even still, the fact that people believed in me, that watched me since I was a kid, was like, let's go for it. This time around, it was much more sacred because I was at an event for Weeksville Heritage Center where they was opening they was doing a rehabilitation project. And those who don't know, Weeksville is sacred land that I encourage everyone in the Black community, regardless of your background, please stop by the Weeksville Heritage Center. And on that space, you can feel your ancestors talking to you. And I want to give a shout out to Assemblywoman Stefani Zinnerman. She said a powerful poem and a statement where there were key words that she said that our ancestors are watching and our ancestors are waiting. And I just felt that tug, and it was just like, let's get it started. Let's get the movement started. So those were the 2 defining moments.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So yeah, our former president, Barack Obama, inspired so many people to actually take that stand or move forward. Don't say you want to change, but be the change that you require.
So I want to, you have some issues that you feel need to be addressed, and you want to run on these issues. I just had to check your time to make sure that we're not out of time. Right?
No worries.
You have 4 main issues, right?
Yes.
Let's tackle them one at a time, and then our co-host and co-hosts can attack the rest, right? One of them is affordable housing.
Yes.
You spoke about being from 820 Albany Avenue in Community Board 17, which is a residential district, right? It's residential. So you went from residential to now saying, let's look at affordable housing. Why is affordable housing so important to you? And as a city council person, as a legislator in city council, what are things that you would like to see change about affordable housing? And I have another question, part B to that, when you're done answering this question. Let's talk about affordable housing.
No problem. So the word affordable housing, I swear if it was a stock, that joint will be penny stocks right now, because how abusive that term is being used across our city. If you look at Housing Connect, right, they say affordable housing. People are sharing all over social media those AMIs and the average median income, which is 6 figures, but they're in low income communities, right? There is literally a condominium building, there's literally a building 2 blocks up from me that's supposed to be affordable, but the asking prices are 60 to 80% AMI, which is, again, 6 figures. I sit on my community board, shout out to Community Board 8. And I am constantly fighting as a member of the Housing and Land Use Committee, constantly fighting on defining and letting people know what true affordable housing is. If
So
you
I,
go
I, I
on
want
New York,
I want to just chime in on
yeah,
this one.
right.
So what is affordable housing to you?
True affordable housing is
Mhm.
those units that are 40% AMI or less. So if you go on to the New York City HPD website, that 40% AMI is on a rent average for a single person about $1,035, right?
Okay.
And
Now I want to come at you again with this
yeah,
now. Do you know how much it costs to build those units?
the average unit, depending on how the deal is done between the council person or the developer or the city itself, it depends. But there's usually an average range of more than anywhere from 50,000 a unit to more than 175,000 a unit, depending on the
And
community.
if it is built with union labor, do you know how much that is?
That number at this time I don't know, but I can find out for you.
So when we talk about affordable housing, everything needs to be affordable.
Yeah.
You're talking about the AMIs, but I'm talking about the actual brick and mortar, the workers. And when you put all that together, there's a cost. And how is that cost spread? Then you have to look at the amount of real estate taxes, the water and sewer. All that has to be taken into consideration. But what people fail to realize, real estate taxes go up, your water and sewer goes up all the time. So who's going to incur those costs? Everybody expects the landlord to incur all of those costs while they go up. And now you look at the court systems, when those who get involved in the court systems, when it takes you a year to 2 years to evict a tenant, if you're a small landlord, the cost. However, the mortgage company wants their fees. They want their fee. The mortgage company wants their fees. They don't want late. They want that. So, you know, when you talk about true affordable, it needs to be everybody needs to consider all aspects of that whole not triangle, that whole unit that makes it affordable. For you get 40% AMI, okay, then you got to figure out how much the construction cost. Okay, where can be with certain tax credits if possible? Are those tax credits enough? Those things need to be figured in when we're talking about the affordability and everything. That's just, I agree with you when it's not affordable when I got to pay $2,500 and I only make $50,000 a year for an apartment. But then, everybody feels that if you're a developer, the developer is supposed to absorb all those costs. So it impacts their bottom line. But nobody realizes how much is the developer's bottom line. If you're doing a union job, it's going to be a lot of money, and everybody wants union. You know what I'm saying? And it costs to do union.
So I look at it in two ways. One, I absolutely agree with your sentiments, right? And with that, this is where the civic engagement and the education comes in, because these are things that we have to look at. I believe that there's always a way. I was raised to say there's no excuse. There's always a way, right? Even when we want to make some type of idea move forward, we can get it done. We have seen what this city has done in 2020. Okay, we have taken those trains. They look the cleanest they have ever been in our entire lives. I still got a picture to remember how quick they were in terms of making sure everything was clean. So the city, if it really wants to move, can do it. But then also we have to look at opportunities where we have to continue to explore things outside of our realms. And I won't be able to know that until I am able to have the opportunity to get in. Because from what I hear is that the city has to just work this particular way. These are the particular developers we have to work with, or these are the particular, contractors we have to work with. And I see that, but I need to know it for myself, and the people need to know it, so that way there's full awareness. Because again, if you're not sitting on the community boards, you don't notice. The average person doesn't really care about this, right? They want to know, can I move into the apartment unit and is it affordable? More importantly, the person and the real New Yorker who don't know all this political jargon is saying straight up, there is no way I can afford a house in the city of New York right now, even with all the grants, even with all of the special funding I get, unless I'm hitting the lotto on top of that, there's no way I could purchase a $2.5 million brownstone in Bed-Stuy or a $1 million house that's now in East Flatbush, you know? So I think we have to look at those things from an understanding too.
Yeah, I want to part B of that question.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you did say you had a part B, my fault.
Yeah, so John touched on some of that conversation.
Right.
And you touched on real conversation around true affordability, right? What relief? Everybody always talk about the renter. But I want to delve into a conversation, right? Small owners. I'm not even talking about 8 units or 10 units and above. I'm talking about 8 or less, right? At this point, or 10 or less units. Renters come in and beat the system. They go from apartment to apartment, stay 6 months, 8 months, or where they become squatters, right? 30 days, you're a squatter, and you don't have to pay any rent. Okay? Are you going to look, when you look at, to make things more affordable, one of the ways to make things more affordable is to make things more accessible.
Yes.
Are you going to be looking into saying, hey, small tenants, how can I help you to keep your homes or your small buildings? What are you going to do? Will you be looking into changing the laws to make it more feasible or easier for small landlords at the minimum to be able to collect rent?
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with having small owners and tenants at the table. I think that's the key. I won't know. Let's say if I am someone who's just understanding this is the first time we're hearing something like this, then we need to hear more of the people, the landlords and small owners talk about this in a way that is showing that side of the narrative, right? Because when we look at
they
it,
don't want to hear it. They don't want, let me tell you something. They don't want to hear it. They feel because you own a piece of property, you have to just take whatever it is. That's the mindset of these tenants. That is their mindset.
It's not all.
Wait. I just want to because we need. I don't want to stay too long on the same topic.
No worries.
John and I share somewhat similar sentiments on this issue, but I want to say that you're in the 41st district where you're running. More than 50%.
What district's that? What district is that? Which one is that?
That's one. It's Brownsville, Canarsie,
Ocean Hill, Brownsville, Crown Heights, Bed-Stuy, East Flatbush.
Bed-Stuy, East Flatbush, parts of East Flatbush.
That's who's over there now? Darlene Lilly.
So that one of the issues the reason why I bring it up for you, and it's a good conversation to have, is more than 70% of your districts have 2 to 3 family residential homes and brownstones where they're paying high taxes, right? Where these luxurious homes, brownstones, people want to stay in. And they're worth hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars. So I think, you have to, for those 70% voters, residents of your 140,000 residents, you have to come back and say, hey, what do I do for the 40, 50,000 of you that own a home? I know I know so many people that live in that district who are suffering.
Yeah. And the worst thing I need to do is hear from them, right? I'm like, as someone that's on this side, one of the things I've learned, and I'm so grateful to have evolved in my leadership, right, is to be slow to speak and quick to listen. In other words, I teach this in many of my leadership workshops, right? People want to be heard. So if there are opportunities and creating spaces where they are consistently being heard, that helps me to create a narrative to show the importance of what's taking place in the district, right?
Come on, but you know what? They're heard that you don't need them to come to a meeting to tell you this is what it is. And you know this.
I do, because again, I hear that side that, oh well, we know what it is, but I need to hear it, because in order for us to build constant trust, they need to see that their leader is there for them. And
No, but I got you that. But the whole point is, we talk about we don't want you to be reactive. We want you to be proactive.
Yeah,
and being proactive. You know, I just want to summarize this. What I'm saying, being proactive in a situation such as this and dealing with that is, both parties need one another. And one thing you should always look at is the ability, you know, the taxes and all of the real estate taxes, the water and sewer. You should always think about doing an amnesty for those individuals. I'm just putting that out to you.
Okay.
Just, you know, proposing an amnesty. You know, they should waive the interest and the penalties and let these people pay the taxes. But that's one issue. So, you know, just getting on to just the general sentiment of just being engaged on all fronts in the community. Just get, you know, and one thing I would always recommend is being open-minded.
Yes.
You know, one thing we fail as Democrats is to be open-minded.
Yes.
And just because I may be saying something different doesn't mean you have to cancel me. We're always quick to cancel and quick to tell somebody to resign. Always.
We have to literally. So one of the things, and I'm glad you brought that up, because as a current doctoral student right now in the College of Staten Island, shout out to the College of Staten Island, I'm doing my focus on authentic leadership, right? And my definition of authentic leadership is being able to lead powerfully from one's own unapologetic identity and ownership, balance vulnerability, earn merit, emphatic communication, joyful connectivity, and honorable integrity while providing genuine service to the people, right? And so one of the things that you're seeing right now is that people want the real. They don't want to hear fluff. And regardless, good, bad, or indifferent, and I teach this in my leadership workshops, is that good, bad, or indifferent, the current president is speaking real. And I was like, as New Yorkers, we should know that, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. He's speaking the language as a New Yorker. He's coming in tough. He's telling you what it is. Good, bad, or different, whether you like it or not. We as New Yorkers, this is what we do, right? We don't have to agree with it. I want to be very clear. But that leadership style is, when you hear people say on the ground, he's keeping it real, he's keeping it real. That's what we have to do, right? It's being able to say, I don't know the answer, but guess what? Let's keep coming at it. This is just one meeting. We're going to get a few more. Let me jump in. Let's bring this community together. Let's bring that community together. And let's constantly talk about it, right? And show it in a way where our communities in the district understands, because we don't have time for the fluff. It's about getting on the ground, educating people how this government works, showing them the power from their community boards to neighborhood advisory boards, literally taking the resources that I have and bringing it down to the community. In other words, I don't know if y'all watch Power out there. If you understand the show Power, I will be the Connect community boards, podcasts like yourselves. Many others will be the distros. I is taking all that resources and passing it to you all to pass it down to the blocks, to make sure that everyone understands. And that is one of the key importance that I want to do.
Thank you. I don't know if Dr. Brown has anything to add to this topic, but I have another question. You talk about the seniors and senior care.
Yes.
Right. You want to touch on that for a little bit? Tell us a little bit about that and why that issue is important to you.
Oh man. You know, I did, as one who has lost so many in my life, and as a Black man, that's one of my triggers and traumas. I can't lie. Like, I'm scared of death, and I own that. And I pray that God blesses me with a very, very long life, right? We're hearing the new saying in our movement, being old is the goal. And I want to get there. And many of us in today's society make fun of our older adults. You've seen it aggressively from former President Joe Biden. It was like, all right, do you not realize you're talking about an 81-year-old man, right, who's still in his right mind, and you have somebody that's older than him right now doing far worse. No ageism whatsoever since this man took office. But he has one mishap, right? And I'm not looking at it from a political perspective. He has one mishap. Oh, he's cranky. He's going to the grave. We cranky all, like, we're not talking about our grandmothers that are in our churches that we walk into. We're not talking about our own parents that are 60, 70 years old. Like, I want to get there. And there are many seniors and older adults, I should say, because I know that's the new thing. And a shout out to our older adults who are watching. There are many, and I noticed that families have disbanded them, where people are waiting for them. Now this is real talk. They're waiting for them to die to get their will and deeds. And they're being treated in hospices, in nursing homes, and spaces where they are not being treated well. And my thing is, I see you, and I want you to know that I'm going to be your grandson. And I'm going to make sure that through policies and funding, we're going to take care of you. And one of the things that I want to do, I want to be the first to bring this up because I think God is just telling me to say it, right? I want to create what's called the Sankofa Love Project, because there are many seniors who are living and just being alone, right? And we see it all the time. If we have an event, they go get their food, they go back to where they go, right? They don't take the time to see like that life is still here. And I know that there are many residences and people like myself who inspire to be grandparents and looking for someone of a older adult figure to just provide wisdom, because we tend to forget that being old, becoming an older adult, you have so much wisdom and experience. Think about all the people in our district that have been in Brownsville and Crown Heights in the 1950s and the 40s. We need to know those stories. And we need to love them and embrace them now, right? As we say in our church, we shouldn't wait for flowers when it's time for them to go. And that's what I mean. I want to show them that, hey, you're going to have somebody in community that's going to love you, that's maybe going to bring you in, that's going to undergird you, but they also give you the content to show that you're outside, because there are a lot of seniors that are on TikTok, they are on social media, they are killing it. And I want to show our seniors that they're outside too, having a good time.
All right.
I love that. I love that.
Right?
Tell us one of the policies that you want to put into play to do that.
So one of the things that I want to put into play, which is what, like I said, it will be called the Sankofa Love Project, where it will be a funding policy where for the 4 years, we will build relationships with those who are it's an optional program, but with seniors who want to jump in and connect with residences in the district who may just want to build a bridge, understand, the life of being an older adult, may understand their stories. They live next door to a neighbor that they just see and just constantly just go in and out, and may want to pour into them, but they may not have that bridge. And the goal is, through that funding, we create a series of programs, workshops, we even do some traveling events, and where we dig deep in not only understanding, what ageism is and all these different terminologies that are unfortunately attacking our old adults, but we also look at the terminologies that attacking today's generation and the generations to come. The goal is to learn, build, and hopefully by the end of that resident and that senior will build a lasting relationship, and we'll be able to share that with the city to show like this is what real village and community looks like.
All right. I appreciate that point. So one of the other things that you spoke about is mental health and wellness. I am excited that you look at the work of social workers, right?
Yeah.
How important that is. And while you're in a foster care, you spoke a lot about that connection that helps you. What are some things that you plan to do as a member of City Council to improve the lives of those who have poor mental health and wellness, or just simply uplift those who just might need uplifting?
Yes. First and foremost, thank you for that question. That is a used military term, DEFCON 1 right now. right, in New York City. Like outside of housing issues, I feel like mental health is DEFCON 1. We cannot pretend what we're not seeing on the trains. We cannot pretend what we're not seeing walking in our streets and communities. There are a lot of people. I don't see people who are causing trouble. I see people who are hurting and are in need of immediate services. So one of the first things that I said will be to create a pipeline, and I'll put some funding right behind this, where the classes of 2025 to 2029, those who are graduating from psych majors, any type of mental health background, the moment you graduate, with state support, we're going to waive your fees so you can jump right in, get those exams, get those certifications done. We're going to create a marketplace, just like how they have a health marketplace, but strictly for mental health, down to the block, from demographic to the community, the background, everything, and get them out there and get started, right? With funding behind the city, we're going to start diving in by block, talking and analyzing and welcoming and the path to healing for so many individuals that are on our streets, that are in our homes right now, from depression to substance abuse to domestic violence and everything in between. That's one of the first immediate things that I would want to do. And then secondly, the community-based organizations that I know are waiting for funding and are waiting for support to really get the job done, but are being overlooked, is immediately getting that funding right to them right away, because I really want to see, like, not only have they been waiting, but I know that they're yearning to show, like, hey, I can do this, or we can do this.
I like it, man. I like that.
Thank you.
You know, I think mental health and seniors are
Yes.
two neglected individuals.
Yes.
And so I appreciate that, and you know.
But you know, the point is, I think one of the things we need to be able to do is get that into the homes. We need to really get that into the homes, you know, because, you know, we still, as people of color, still have that stigma. We don't want to deal with it. We don't want to talk about it. But that's something that we need to really get in the homes. And how do we penetrate? How do we penetrate in those homes? How do we get it? You know, community organizations, and, you know, I think maybe make it more attractive, getting into the mental health field, you know, for some of our kids, and just because it's great to see somebody that you know, that you grew up with, that you feel comfortable really talking about these things, you know?
Yeah. I think the way you do that is, again, I think it goes back to telling a story. I know I'm not a caseworker, but I know I've been in schools where, you know, as they deemed the most challenging. And after telling my story, I'm grateful to say that I've transformed lives because they were able to understand. And I think, you know, especially those who are pursuing psych majors and all that right now, you have to remember why you're doing this, and your story helps play that role, because that's how you start building relationships with said therapists. First of all, we have to acknowledge that we need immediate Black therapists, mental health specialists right now, like the day before yesterday. So we have to put immediate funding behind that. Those who are waiting, I'm telling you, we're going to get you started, because a lot of us will not open up ourselves until we have someone that looks like us and kind of understand our lingo. But then I like what you said, Brother John, because when you said the holes, I was thinking about, all right, how do we bring this mental health issue down to the street, right? And how do we bring this to the block, right? And we have to create the spaces to meet them where they are. And now this is where the real authentic leadership looks like. If we need spaces where, if cats from the block, hey, if they need to smoke, we need to create a safe space for them. We don't have to judge them. We have to look at it from a space of, if they're creating an opportunity for them to share, because I know the brothers in the hood, right? We're not just going to open up like that until we have that space where it's like, oh, this person is talking deep. All right, now I could jump in.
You know, where we go to really have those discussions. It's so true. Where we go, we just have even everyday life discussions. It's usually the beauty salon, the beauty salon, or the barbershops.
The barbershop.
Just to engage into conversations about what's going on.
Right.
And those are ways in which, you know, we need to start recruiting some of those.
Yes.
We need to really start recruiting some of those barbers and stuff like that. They see certain things. We try to educate them about picking these things up. You know what I'm saying? And to talk to, that's something very interesting.
And then being in that spaces, because I noticed, just even if you don't agree, just kick back and listen. Sometimes, like you said, sometimes we just so quick to be open, right? God gave us 2 ears, as we said back in the day, right? God gave us 2 ears to listen. So listen and hear, because sometimes we're so quick to look at the narrative, especially for our Black men, like, oh, they ready, and it's like, hold on, you don't know this person had a struggling day. This person was told no 100 times for a job, and they doing their best they can. This person was literally saying that, hey, I'm trying to go to college, and a worker told them no 4 times. Like, how do you expect me to feel? Right? And we have to own those spaces, just like in our own individual lives, in our own respective villages. We're welcome to be in those spaces too.
Amen.
So Michelle wrote something, and I know the time is up. Michelle wrote,
man.
we have to lift up men. We have an abundance of services for women. Nothing wrong with that, but it's way too lopsided. The imbalance is showing up in our community. So thank you for all the listeners who are chatting, putting their responses in the chat. Sherry Ann, Michelle, Fawaz, if I pronounce it wrong, forgive me. So thank you for participating. Thank you for your feedback and your comments.
Wait, Dr. Wait, before you make the comment, I just want to say that I know factually that Sherry Ann is in your district, and let's try to win her vote because she asked a question. I need an apartment because she actually lives in your district.
Wait, there was a question. What was the question? I can't see it. I'm looking for an accessible apartment for the longest. I can't afford it because the income is that high. Yep. And so, as I said, I sit on the community board. So let's talk.
All right. Dr. Brian, I know I cut you, but guys, finish up. I just want to make sure
I want to know, and not only myself, others want to know, how can they reach you? How can they support you, and your contact information?
I'm going to tell you right now, because I'm a man that's open book. My phone number has not changed for 25 years.
I know you're not putting your public.
Nah, I'm just messing with y'all. You go, look at that. That was like, oh, wait a minute. I'm kidding. No, you can go to my website, www.votehenderson41.com. You can see my entire story, my background. You can also go on my personal Instagram page. It's public. It's out there. You can see my full story. Jamel.Henderson. That's JAMELL.Henderson. And you can also add me on Facebook at Jamel Henderson as well.
So, Jamal, is this an open seat?
No.
Oh, so you're running against the councilwoman?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
So VoteHenderson41.com.
You know what? We don't even have any time. I had another
And
question.
when is election time? Is it,
It's June 24th.
There you go.
I pray I don't get gray hair by then, because right now we in petitioning period, and it is heavy. It is heavy work right now.
Jamel, can you check the bottom of the screen? Our producer want to make sure that he got the right information. So,
Oh, what happened?
I think we lost him. He just said, we lost him.
Oh, I think maybe his phone.
I don't know. VoteHenderson41.com.
So Roger, we got to have Darlene Neely on also.
All right.
Okay.
Yes, there we go. Yes, Vote Henderson, www.votehenderson41.com. That is my Instagram personal. My Instagram campaign is Vote Henderson41 as well.
Okay.
All right. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I love you. I love this. Please. Thank you, guys.
For being on this evening. We appreciate you. People, go out to vote. He have his information. Go on his website. Go on his Facebook. There you have it. Mr. Henderson, thank you for joining us this evening. And thank you for our listeners for your engagement, for being involved, and for staying on a few minutes later.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for watching, sharing, and participating in the village. Again, like I said, happy birthday to my brother Evro. Happy birthday to my sister-in-law, Georgia, and happy birthday. We're coming to the end of the month. Cooper has his first game this weekend, and I will see you on Saturday.
Yes, at the wine event.
What a wine event? What event? Nobody tell me nothing. What event?
So, I'm gonna tell
You
you.
need to pay attention, dude.
Okay.
No, I ain't get no invitation. I ain't get no invitation.
I'm gonna send. Carrie Edwards is having a wine and dine and trivia.
Nobody send me nothing. Nobody send me nothing.
Okay, I'm gonna send it to you now. So he will be having it on Saturday, 275 Park, and it will be from 3 to 5. So join me, get a glass, get some appetizers, some food, and some trivia from 3 to 5.
Blast, and blast.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please like and share. Like and share. All right. Thank you. God bless. Have a great evening. Have a great weekend. And big up again to all of the villagers. God bless.
Good night.